What's up, guys? Welcome back to Tuesday Night Trash Talk with my co-host, Pistol Packing Pilot, and our guest, the one and only Campbell Coins. Welcome back, Campbell. It's been over a year now. It's been about a year and a month since you've been on Tuesday Night Trash Talk. So we're happy to have you back on, man.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate the invite.
How you doing, gentlemen? It's great to have you back on, Campbell.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm doing all right. How about you guys?
Well, aside from spending my day in the hospital today, other than that, everything was just peachy.
Oh shit. You all right?
Yeah, what was how'd everything come back? Everything good? Did we lose you?
Might have lost him.
Might have lost him. His Wi-Fi is acting up again.
Oh no.
So how you been, man?
I've been all right. You know, hanging in there.
What do you think? What's your plans this year with precious metals? What do you got your eyes on?
Oh, I think I'm just stacking slowly right now, because I'm at that point where I'm really content, and I'm more or less waiting for like a major crash to occur before swallowing up some more. So I think for the moment, I'm just gonna just hang back a bit, just grab a little bit of here and there, just something I see that catches my eye. I'll grab that. But other than that, I'm not diving in too deep.
So you just been laying low and stacking cash?
Yeah, pretty much. How about you? What's your strategy?
I've been stacking for a long time. I've built a really, really good base. I'm, just like you, I'm comfortable. But it's just an addiction, man. I just keep on going at it. I'm about 5,000 ounces of silver, and I still stack silver.
Yeah.
It's just,
that's a lot of silver to move if you were moving. That's a lot of silver.
Yeah. Well, I had to move it not too long ago because we moved into the new house. So.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah, no, thank you. I sold my other house and I built another one, and we moved into that one.
Are you still in New York?
Oh yeah, unfortunately. But I'll get out of there soon.
I just realized something. I'm the only one that lives in a free state tonight out of the three of us.
Yeah, you live in Cali, right, Campbell?
Yeah, behind enemy lines.
Whereabouts in Cali? You like in the inner cities?
Not kind of Northern California, so nowhere close to LA, thankfully, and far enough away from San Francisco. I don't have to smell it.
Yeah, all that smog. Is that what they call it, right? The smog or something?
Oh no, the smog is more of an LA thing, but San Francisco is the homeless.
Oh, that's true. You see that South Park episode where we were, we love smog, and they were farting in cups and sniffing it? You gotta look that.
That's an old episode, man.
That's an old one, man.
Yeah, that's a good one though.
I remember that one now. San Francisco, I think they were in the smog and people were farting in cups and sniffing it.
Those guys were way ahead in their time.
Oh, absolutely, man.
So I've got a hell of a question for Campbell. And this is something that's been weighing on my head for a long time, Patriotic. It's actually been weighing on both of our heads for a long time.
Oh, here we go.
Yep, here we go. One of my favorite videos he's ever done was the butt cream video. And if you guys don't know which video that is, just go to his channel. I'm sure you'll find it. It's fucking hysterical. The butt cream video is I had to laugh just thinking about that. One of us, though.
Butt cream's been on your mind, though?
Well, lately I'm gonna tell you why. Because either Patriotic or me is gonna need some of your butt cream on December 31st, or potentially before that.
You're definitely gonna need it first.
So well, let's hold on. Do you know what the bet is that I have with him? Have you heard about it?
No. What is it?
Okay, so we have a bet, and the bet is for a 10-ounce silver bar. And
Okay.
I'm very curious, and I bet you Patriotic is curious to hear what your opinion is on who you think is going to win this bet. But the bet basically is that I believe this year, at some point, silver will touch $30. Even if it just hits it for a freaking split second and bounces right off of it. If at
Mhm.
any time silver touches $30 between now and December 31st, I get a 10-ounce bar from him. And if it doesn't, then I have to pay him a 10-ounce bar. So I'm curious, what's your thoughts?
So he doesn't have to hit a target at all. He just doesn't have to hit 30.
Yep, I got to stay under 30. That's it.
Oh,
It can
you should have made it like it can't go below like a certain level, and that would have been
Nope.
interesting too.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a good question. Okay, so I'm gonna take you guys back on like a little story really fast before I answer your question. So back in early February 2020, I was on Instagram and I made a price prediction. I said that by July, silver would hit $23 an ounce. And at that time, I think silver was at 16. Somebody fact check me on that. But silver was like 16, 18, somewhere around there.
When
And
was
I
that?
said it was going to hit $23 an ounce. And at that time, we hadn't seen silver in the 20s at all for many years. It had to been at least 2 or 3 years. And lo and behold, by July, it hit 23 bucks. And then it just kept on going.
I remember
I think that it's likely that it will go to 30. Um, but at the same time, it's so dang volatile that I could easily see it just dropping back down again because you're going to have this wave of stackers who have been in this market at the $30 range for a very long time. Think about like 2020, you had all these people jumping in buying silver, brand new stackers, and you had Wall Street silver I think the next year. And the whole thing was like silver to the moon, silver to the moon, you know? And so everyone was hopping in on this thinking silver's going to the moon. And the next year it didn't happen. And the next year it didn't happen. So I think we're going to see a lot of people exit. And when they exit, the price will drop.
So we both need to order some butt cream from you because it could be either one of us.
I think it
One
could
of
go
them.
either way, honestly, just because it's so hard. It's so hard to predict anything, even just like remotely. Now things are just so chaotic that I mean, I don't know if you guys heard this, and I honestly I saw this on the news and I didn't know how true it is because you know how things are made up nowadays. But there was a story, I think it was just this morning or yesterday, where an AI generated image of the Pentagon
Oh,
being
you heard
hit.
about that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that is
the market
crazy.
lost $500 billion like within a couple hours. So
Propaganda, man.
who's
Propaganda.
to say that? Well, I mean, even if it was just like bad actors doing this to try to bring something down, who's to say that something like that won't happen to gold or silver? I mean, look at what we saw last summer, where it was that Uganda found like more gold than has ever been mined in the existence of U.S. history, and or no, not U.S. history, human history. And where did that story go? Have you heard anything else from that? No, because there was nothing to it. It's stuff like that which kind of also drove the price of gold down. So I mean, we could see some weird story out there that really either jacks up the price or lowers the price artificially.
And
Who
there's
knows?
there's so much background noise too, because I think we all three of us agree. If I'm wrong, one of you please correct me, but I think all three of us agree that there's going to probably be more bank collapses this year at some point,
I can
and
see it. Yeah.
and that's going to have some type of effect. And then we also are in the middle of these of the U.S. potentially defaulting on our debt. That deadline's coming up, what, June 1st?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
Congress has their hands full right now trying to figure out what they're going to do and potentially raise the debt ceiling again. So we got that shit show going on. So, I mean, there's just so much shit going on in the background. I mean, I agree with you 100%. It's just so volatile. It could literally probably go in either direction.
That's what I was telling you about. You remember that little conversation we had via text? It's got all the potential to hit 30. I mean, it's got the potential to hit 50 or 100. I mean, you know, silver and gold is very undervalued. We know that. We know it should be a lot more than what it is. But with everything that's going on, you know, Russia, Ukraine, China now at the BRICS nations, banks shutting down, the whole COVID thing, on top of everything else, we should see gold and silver go up. You know, like last year, we seen that dip we had a dip for 8 months. You know what I mean? It was pretty much most of 2022, we had a great dip. And listen, I wasn't complaining. I was stacking the hell out of that dip, but we shouldn't have seen a dip then. Not with everything that's going on.
Well, we all know it's manipulated.
You know
I
what I
mean,
mean? So, like right now, like, yeah, it caused silver and gold to jump up. Silver hit 25 and stayed there for a while, and gold shot up. But with everything that's going on, you think it'd be up a lot more than what it is. But it's not. You know, it's very manipulated. I mean, I guess all you have to do today is make a false image or a false video and upload it and get a crap load of views, and it can affect the market. Like, it's crazy. But I it's not impossible that silver's going to hit 30. It could hit 30. You know, we don't know. But I don't know. It seems like it struggles once it hits 25. Like, I was told, I did a video on it. You know, it was at 25, and I was surprised it was holding as long as it was. But you seen it would go up to high 25s into 26. It would drop back down to 25. It would go down to 24. It would come back up to 25. You know, so it sat there for a while. I think that 25 is kind of like the safe high number for silver. It seems like silver likes that 25, and we've seen silver at 25 multiple times before. I think early last year, it hit 25. I think it actually went up more than that, 26 maybe. The year
It's definitely
before
a price level.
25. It's definitely, yeah,
it's definitely a price level.
It's definitely a level.
25 is one of them. I think 29, 31, something like that. They're all price levels. The only I'll build on what Triple P was saying. The likelihood of another bank. I think that another bank collapse is more than likely, just because Janet Yellen said this in a meeting on Friday. She was talking to J.P. Morgan and Citigroup, and she was saying, "Hey, more bank failures are likely, and we're expecting the larger banks to gobble them up." So it's more than likely going to happen, and I also think that it's very odd that silver went down as much as it did. It was like $2 down now.
Yeah, it's actually went down
Why?
more today.
I don't understand this dip, to be honest with you.
No, you wouldn't expect a dip like this, especially with everything that's going on. And that's what just like even last year. Now, last year wasn't as bad as this year, but still, like, we had a dip for 8 months, most of the year. And, you know, now I thought for sure it was going to stay at 25. We might have seen 26, 27 this year, or maybe even 28. But now we're at a dip, and I'm not complaining about the dip, but I wasn't expecting that. You know, my dip this year, I was expecting maybe 24, high 24s. We're almost, what, 20 more cents would be 20, 30 more cents would be at the 22 mark. I think it's 23. It's 23.30 today, or 23.40 or something like that. So we're not far from 22. But
We're at
definitely
20,
not.
23.43 right now is what I'm seeing. Gold is at 1974.
And you wouldn't think with everything that's going on that we would see these numbers right now. But like I said, man, it's weird. And, you know, I agree with you, Campbell. You've done so many videos on this, and you mention it a lot. when you do videos, you don't follow the spot price because you know gold and silver is worth more than what it is. And it's
Yeah.
true. We know silver's now. It's worth a lot more than $23 an ounce. You know what I mean? Gold, it's worth a lot more than 1970, you know?
I don't know if you guys ever do this exercise, but sometimes I do just for fun. Like the fantasy exercise, if you think back, oh man, if I was able to buy that back when I could, I couldn't afford it back then, but if I did, I would have
Right.
so much this. Like if I could buy this land back in the 60s, or if I did this back at this time, IBM, Bitcoin, whatever you want to go off of.
Google.
There's all these moments where you're thinking of, man, if I only just bought this. Well, that's kind of how
I'll give you the perfect example. I do that every day with my house, because when I built my house in 2015, you guys are going to laugh at what I paid for it as well. I built this house. It's a 5-bedroom, 3-bathroom, 2,600 square foot home. I built it for $237,000 in a upper class neighborhood of Southwest Florida.
And it's double.
If I would have built it on the water with access to the Gulf of Mexico, it would have cost me about $350,000, about another $110,000, $115,000 for Gulf access. Right now, today, I could sell my house for $800,000. Any idea what I could sell my house for if it was on the water with Gulf access?
I wouldn't say 1.5.
Yeah, 1.4 to 1.5. You're right on the money. So yeah, I do that exercise all the time, and it's one of the worst financial decisions I've made in my life. I kick myself for that on a daily basis.
Speaking of that,
that's not too bad. But my point is, like, I think gold and silver are one of those times. Like right now, it's like silver is so affordable that anyone can literally jump in and grab it.
exactly.
$23. Like no one's paying $23. That's why I always say spot price doesn't matter, because no one's paying spot price. And if there's gonna be some guy out there saying, "Oh, I bought silver for spot." Okay, well, I would love for you to X-ray that, because it's probably fake, because nobody's selling it for spot.
No.
And if you did get one, you're getting 1 ounce. No one is buying hundreds of ounces at a time, multiple times in a row at spot. It's always, there's an inflated premium on it. So people are paying probably 26 to 28 right now. I would say for larger bars, probably on the cheaper end, but it's still going to be at least a $3 premium for a kilo.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I can count on one hand, within the 10 years I've been stacking, how many spot deals I've had, how many times I've found gold or silver at spot, and most of the time it was people that were just looking to get rid of something because they needed the money, they were in a pinch, or at a pawn shop, where they just paid $10 over spot, so they don't care if they sell it for spot. But very few times have I come across those deals. And exactly, when I do come across those deals, maybe it's a 5-ounce bar or a 10-ounce bar, or a couple silver maples or something, But yeah, no one's selling it for spot.
The best deal that I've seen this week was at Monument Metals.
Germania mint bars for $1.99.
The Germania kilos for $1.99 over spot.
I just bought 2. Yeah, I just seen that.
That was a steal.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Did you buy any?
No, I bought gold. I've got just shy 1.75 ounces of gold en route to my house right now.
What'd you get?
Very nice.
23 Buffalo, 23 half-ounce Gold Eagle, and a 23 quarter-ounce Gold Eagle.
There you go. Let me just take a moment and say hi to a couple people in the chat. What's up, Silverstruck, Trident Rare Cards, Emeralds, Canadian Silver Stacker, B2, Silver Gold Stack Attack, Silver Oceans. What's up, guys? Bill, Matthew Brown, Oldman Jenkins, Weekly Bullion, Anxious, Don't Ask. A lot of great people in the chat today. We have 34 people in the chat right now.
So Patriotic, we're each going to order a tube of butt cream, and Campbell is going to ship it for free.
Hey, we might have to split the 10-ounce bar. Maybe we both win.
How could we possibly both win? There's no
So,
way.
like, say it's midnight, right? Say it's midnight, December 31st. It's 11:59, and you got like, if it hits 30 within like that 1 second, but I was right half the year, we both got to win because we were so close.
Dude, if that were to happen, I mean, I got a better chance. I got a better chance of getting struck by lightning in a clear blue sky with the winning Powerball ticket in my hand.
You know, I was just talking to Silver Gold Stack Attack about this, and we were talking about the whole bet between me and you. And I said, you know what would suck? I could just see it happening because it's something like your luck, and I'd be winning the rest of the year, right? December 31st comes around, midnight. I'm still in the clear. 12:01, January 1st, 2024. It hits 30.
And you know what I would do, Patriotic? I would pay up because you won fair and square.
I know.
That's I mean a bet's a bet. I mean,
Oh,
I've got
absolutely.
till 11:59 p.m. and 59 seconds.
The only thing that's more stressful is watching it climb up, but not hitting that mark right as the deadline clicks over. And then
That's
you're in
what I'm saying.
January 2nd and hits 30. You're like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd be so fucking pissed. I'd be so fucking pissed.
And you know what's going to happen? Say if I do win, I know Triple P. He's not going to send me a 10-ounce Germania. He's going to send me a 10-ounce that I hate. He'll send me like a Eater bar or a Harris bar.
I'm gonna go to a coin shop and find the most ridiculous, ludicrous, ugly, shitty 10-ounce bar I can find.
Exactly. I know it. Dude,
so do you guys want to hear some price predictions?
Go for it.
Yeah, okay. So sorry to interrupt that fun bit you guys were having. So I came across this, like, I don't know, it was a report that compiled everyone's price predictions for 2023 for silver. And so this will be the analyst or the firm that was doing the prediction. So David Morgan, I don't know if you guys know who David Morgan is. He does the Morgan Report.
Yep.
His 23 price prediction for silver is $30 to $33. Steve Penny with the Silver Chartist, his is $44.
What?
Yeah. David Brady, excuse me, with Sprott Money, $35. Equity Management, their price prediction is $40. Ronnie Stofferle, $29.30. Crescat Capital, $30 to $35. Peter Spina with Silver Seek, $45. Kitco did an investor online survey. Their price prediction for the combined was $38. And then we have Bank of America, Cosmer Bank. They were doing all $25. Let's see here. There's a guy at Elliott Wave Trader. He says that the price doubles in 2023 to $50. An LBMA analyst survey said $28.30. Let's see here. CPM Group, their medium price was $20.90. $23.50 was on the higher end. So a lot of these people have already hit that price prediction. And then yeah, that's about it.
Here's another fun fact that that not everyone is talking about. Campbell, I know you've talked about it and I've talked about it too. Please correct me if I don't get it 100% correct, but from what I can tell, it appears that the silver that's held by the COMEX and the LBMA is also starting to slowly dwindle down.
You know, I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Only not. It's not like a yes or no type thing. There's a lot of gray here. So I think what a lot of people do is they see that it is dropping, but what they're not talking about is when they replenish. And
Okay.
I don't know when they replenish. So that's why I can't fully step in here and say I'm the expert in this, because I am not. But what I can say is, for the amount of years that I have been putting effort and energy looking into silver, every single one of those years, almost every single one, I've heard the COMEX is being drained, 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 drained. And every year that's not occurring, you know.
Yeah,
We're
I
still
agree.
able to buy silver. So I really disagree with that. I think people are taking headlines and running with it, but what they're not understanding is that COMEX is getting replenished. And I mean, it has to be, because if it's like continuously dwindling down, then eventually it would run out. But
Exactly.
one of the things that I like, I really, one of the videos I did, I can't remember what it was called, but it was about those
Wasn't
brothers
butt
in the
cream, was it?
80s. No, it wasn't butt cream.
Hunt
The
brothers.
Hunt brothers. Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for the
Those
$2,
guys,
man.
those guys put in like millions of dollars into buying silver. They actually made a dent. And I don't think that that's happening right now.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want it to, and I do think that there's like an extra surge of people that are interested in precious metals, gold especially, silver for sure. But I think that we are mining more than we have before, just because of the new mining techniques that we have. So we're able to replenish that. That's
Yeah.
not to say that in 10 to 15 years, things will look differently, because eventually we're going to get to the point where we can't keep mining at this rate, where the available silver, the easy to get silver, is no longer easy to get. And we don't have the technology, or silver has to jump up in price to make it worthwhile to go for that harder to get silver.
Exactly. I
Correct.
agree with you 100%. There's only so much. Not saying that there's a silver shortage or anything, but there's only so much they can dig. And I mean, there's a lot of silver out there. There's a lot of gold out there. So I don't think we have anything to worry about now, but there's going to come a time where you're going to have to pay up if you want some of that stuff.
I will say that I think of all the metals that has a rarity to it within
Thanks,
like
Dryden.
the above ground supplies, I think it's
Platinum.
platinum.
Yep.
Because the moment platinum shoots up in price, it'll be the first thing that disappears from bullion dealers' websites. Like, you
Yep.
can't find grams, you can't find 5 grams, you can't find 10 grams. Hell, sometimes you can't even find the 10 ounces. It dries up so fast.
It's like the above ground supply is like what, 20 to 30 times more rare than gold, right?
Mm-hmm. If not more. Yeah. But it's just, that's one thing I've always noticed is it's not even like a huge price jump. It's like $200 and everything's gone. And it takes a long time for it to come back too. And I think right now, isn't there like some sort of like issue going on in South Africa where they're having protests? So
Yeah, I
And
think I read something about that.
it's like what, over 90% of all the platinum in the world is mined in Russia and South Africa, right?
yeah, I think it's 75% is in South Africa alone, and then the rest is the rest of the world. So that's a huge amount in one location.
I've been trying to get Brother Patriotic over here on the platinum for a long time, but he just cannot see the light.
Dude,
No.
you got no one else in the community gives a crap about it. Like, the videos that I put out on platinum, they do not see views. Nobody gives a crap. There is a guy, I failed to remember his name, but his entire channel was nothing but platinum, and he stopped posting.
Platinum Beast.
Yeah. Platinum Beast. Dude was posting nothing but platinum videos. He didn't do anything about silver. Barely did anything about gold. Nobody watched his stuff because nobody cares enough about platinum. And I think there will be a point in time where it just shoots up so far in price that people are like, man, I should have bought platinum.
Oh,
I should have been paying attention to this.
agree. I mean, it was more than gold at one point.
Well, yeah, that's why
For a long time.
your platinum eagles have $100 face value on them, because at one point they were worth more than platinum was worth more than gold. And a matter of fact, they should update that. Throw $100 on the gold coins and 50 on the platinum.
Platinum is a sleeper. I'm telling you, I don't understand why it is when metals drop, people ignore them, and then when metals spike, all of a sudden people buy them. I don't get it. It should be the exact opposite.
That's what everything, and it's the same thing with like the crypto, situation. You see right now, when it was low, I was buying it. I was buying it up just not too long ago. We had it. Well, Bitcoin was like 20 grand or something, or even less. I think it was like 17 or something. I was buying it when everyone else was like, hold your money, don't buy it. But that's what you do when stuff drops, when there's a dip, you back up the truck, you buy into it. And then, when it's high, you sell it or you hold it, whatever. But everybody, they get that FOMO. They're afraid they're going to miss out. When they see it jump up, that's when they start buying. I mean, look at your local coin shops. When the prices are high, you ask your local coin shops, they're the most busiest they ever been, because you got new people coming in and like, oh, we don't want to miss out on it. And the media starts talking about gold and silver. But the minute it dips, people say it's garbage, it's trash, and it's with everything.
Very true.
We're smart enough we know how things work, and we buy the dips, and we try not to buy the highs. When it's high, we sit back. And if we do buy anything, it's nothing crazy. We're not going overboard. But that's what everything is.
I buy basically. I've got a select number of coins that I buy every year, and everything else above and beyond that is bonus. So every year, I have to have all of the gold eagles, all the weights. I have to have at least one gold buffalo from that year. I have to have at least one platinum eagle from that year. And then once I have all of that stuff, oh, here comes Mrs. Triple P with her 2 cents. Jesus Christ.
You're missing one.
I'm missing one. What am I missing?
5 rose gold.
Oh, I forgot. Of course. Her queen or king or whatever the fuck it is. Rose gold sovereign. Yep. Got to have one of those. And then after that, I can sit back and relax. And if I want to get.
No. You have to have a tube.
I have to have a tube.
Uh-huh.
A tube of what? Butt cream?
No. Not butter. Except for you might need some later.
What the fuck?
A tube of silver eagles.
Oh, the tube of silver eagles. Yes, I forgot about that. She has to have a tube of silver eagles from each year too. So I get all of that stuff.
You have to have a tube of silver eagles each year.
No, that's 100% my wife.
Once I have all of
year. Yeah,
but I called it. I called it last year. Called it.
Hey, in all fairness, though, brother, I waited until the premiums on the Eagles dropped, and I got it for $8 a coin over spot.
Yep, that was me too.
Which was not horrible. I waited, and that's when I got tired of hearing her nag about it, and I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll pull the trigger on it now.
It was the right time, because we were seeing $15 to $20 over, right? And it was been a year and a half since I stacked any Eagles. And then once we seen the dip, when it dropped down a little bit, the premium, just a few months ago, I picked up a tube of the 2023s. It was the first tube I bought in a year and a half.
And to be honest with you, if it dropped again, I would consider buying another tube. If it dropped to $8, I would consider it.
Oh yeah, if it dropped down, and now even though 8 over spot's crazy, but for Eagles, that might be the lowest we'll ever see it. It doesn't seem like the U.S. Mint's gonna ever go less than that. Like now,
I stack all of that stuff from each year, and that's when I get to sit back and relax and have fun. And that's when you get to laugh at me for spending $2,000 on a damn penny.
I'm laughing only because I do the same thing. I just get a year date for each coin every year, and then that's pretty much it. I don't do the Silver Eagle tubes or even the Silver Eagles. The last time I bought Silver Eagles was January 2021, a week before that Wall Street silver movement thing, and I paid $5 over spot.
Yeah, the last time I bought Eagles, besides a few months ago, I stopped in November of 21. November was the last time I bought Silver Eagles up until, I don't know, January, February. I caved in and I bought a tube of the 2023s because I'm like, listen, they're not getting any lower. This is the lowest we're going to see them in a while. And I bought a tube.
Oh, that guy just has an interesting comment. He just reminded me of something else I forgot about, the Libertads. I have to have a tube of Libertads from each year, too.
Hey, hit me up. They're coming out in July, end of July, beginning of August.
Just bought something talking about Libertads.
I just bought something talking about Libertads. What do you mean, Miss?
Supposed to be coming.
What do you mean? What did I buy?
The flaming.
Oh, I forgot about that. I bought that. Yeah, there's in fact, it should be getting delivered to my P.O Box tomorrow. You guys know who Chi-Town Coins is on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
I picked up one of those
I don't.
flaming.
Chi-Town.
He's a pretty big dealer. He does a lot of business on Instagram.
Those flaming semi-numismatic.
Yeah, it was like $90 or something. So I picked up one of those flaming Libertads on IG from him. I waited like 3 months. It took forever for him to get it, but it's finally on its way to my P.O Box. I think I should have it.
Oh yeah, Chi-Town Stackers. I know who you're talking about now.
Yep, Chi-Town.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I've done business with him a few times.
Yeah. Yep. Myself also. Speaking, I bought another Johnson Matthey kilo bar. I bought an IGR kilo bar, 2 10-ounce IGR bars, and 20 face value in Walker half. So that's all hitting tomorrow in the mailbox.
That's a
Walker
good
halves,
question.
that's
I want to ask Campbell. Is you mentioned Walkers. Do you think we will ever see 18 times face on Constitutional ever again?
I thought it was at 18.
No, it's 22 now. It dropped. The premiums did drop just recently. Just like last week, they did drop because they were going.
If you can get it for 21 to 22, you're doing decent right now.
Yeah. On
Wow.
Facebook right now.
That's how little I'm paying attention to it. And you know, it's also that's another thing is back in 2018, I remember seeing like BU tubes of Walkers, and it was like, I don't even want to like insult everyone with the price of how cheap it was, but I'm like, I wish I bought more of those just because like those are gone. Now you're getting like slick Walkers and you're paying a huge premium
price
on them. It's
you're
such a
getting
cool coin. Yeah, it's such a cool coin.
Beautiful.
It's my favorite half. Out of all the half dollars, the Walker's my favorite.
Yep, and Mercs.
Oh, yeah.
Walkers and Mercs are my favorite. Walkers and Mercs.
Yeah, same here. I love the Mercs. I love the Walkers.
My third choice would probably be the Benji.
And then, of course, you guys know I'm the seated Liberty freak.
Well, we do now.
I've got a tube and a half, Mrs. Triple P. A full tube and a half of Liberty seated dimes. And then, of course, I'm working on the Liberty seated typeset, all PCGS, all Mint State. And the only one that I need is the 20-cent piece. The one I have is an AU58, and I'm trying to get it in an MS. So after that, I'll have all of the seated Liberties all the way from the half dime all the way up to the dollar and including the trade dollar, all at least an MS 60 or higher.
Very cool.
Wow, that's impressive.
Very cool. I've been really focusing on vintage kilo bars lately. I don't know why.
How's that going for you? Because I've always thought, and this is meant as no offense, but I've always thought like the vintage silver was just like a scam because people were paying these huge premiums on like oh, this is one of 20 that this company ever made. And I'm like, okay, cool.
No, you got to
So
know what you're doing. You got to know what you're doing when you're going into vintage. You know, I'm like I say, 95% stacker. So everything I buy, I try to get as cheap as possible. So what I do when I want to search for a vintage bar, usually I have a couple of guys I go through on Facebook that, you know, specialize in vintage. There's a group called Engelhart Bars or something on Facebook. I deal with a lot of guys there. I get some deals there once in a while, but eBay is great for that stuff. So a lot of people, recently with the Johnson Matthey bar that's coming in the mail, this guy, I guess on eBay, is an eBay store. He sells all kinds of stuff, right? He's probably like goes to yard sales or estate sales and buys a bunch of crap and puts it up on eBay. And I was looking through like his listings and stuff, and he had like 500-600 reviews, and they were all, you know, outstanding. You know, he had like, I think he was like listed as 100 verified eBay seller, and he had this vintage Johnson Matthey kilo bar up, and a few other, you know, silver coins and stuff, and he was asking $1,050 or best offer, and that bar usually goes for about $1,200. That particular bar. I shot him an offer at $940. Shipping was $10, and he took it. And so for that vintage Johnson Matthey kilo that I just bought, it'll be hitting my doorstep tomorrow. I paid $40 to $60 over what a regular generic kilo bar goes for. So that's not bad.
no, in that instance, it's a good deal.
Absolutely.
What if you were paying like $1,500
No,
for
I
that
wouldn't
same
do
bar?
that. I mean, I wouldn't do that
Because people
unless.
do.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, Silverstruck, if he's still in the chat, you know, me and Silverstruck are big into vintage silver bars and stuff. Engelhart, Johnson Matthey, we love this stuff. But you know, it depends on what bar it is. You know, I mean, like matter of fact, I just sold one on auction the other day. I had a 5-digit Engelhart bar, 10-ounce Engelhart 5-digit. I think it was a 3rd series 5-digit Engelhart bar. They go for anywhere from $400 to $600 now, and I paid for that bar was $400. No, I paid $400 even, and I made money on it. I sold it, and I took that money and I bought more vintage for my stack. You know, I'll rotate stuff once in a while, but you got to know what you're searching for. You got to know what you have. I look at Engelhart bars, Johnson Matthey's, vintage stuff with a big name like Engelhart, Johnson Matthey, Silvertown. I look at that more as an investment, as, you know, traditional stacking. You know, because I can make money on vintage stuff. You know, you got to find that right person that's into it as much as you. Find that right click, because, you know, it is a niche. Not everybody stacks vintage or in the vintage. But if you know what you're doing, it's the same. It's like numismatics, man. It's the same thing with numismatics. Like, you know, I was never the guy to look at a Morgan dollar and spend, you know, thousands of dollars on it. Or same thing with Triple P, buying the penny. I wouldn't, in a million years, wouldn't spend $2,000 on a wheat penny. I don't care what it is. But it's the same thing. I mean, if he plays his cards right and he knows what he's doing, he could turn around and make money on it. I mean, there's more money with numismatics. You know what I mean? You can make
let
good
me
money with
tell you
numismatics.
something. There's a lot of money to be made on eBay if you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And you know how not to get scammed. There's a lot of money to be made on eBay. I'll give you a perfect example. I bought a capped bust, Mint State, off of eBay, And that's actually my most expensive slab in my collection right now. The slab is valued by PCGS. I believe the last time I looked it up, it was $7,000. $7,000 for one fucking coin. Well, I picked up that slab, Mrs. Triple P. It was like 3,200, right?
Mm-hmm.
I picked up that slab off of eBay for $3,200 because he listed it on eBay, and it was listed at like 3,200. No, it was listed at 3,500. He said it was valued at 4,200. I looked up the slab number. The value had just shot up, and it was valued at 6. It had literally just shot up in the last few days. So I came back and offered him like $3,000, and we haggled a little bit, and then I got it for 32. He had no idea that it shot up to $6,000, and now it's already even higher than that. So if you can watch the value of these slabs, I agree with you, Patriotic. It to me, I look at that as more of an investment.
I don't
look at metals like in terms of gold eagles and gold buffaloes and silver eagles. That's not an investment.
Yeah, bullion.
That is just a way of preserving my wealth and hedging against inflation.
Exactly, and that's what bullion's for. But if you want to go, like, that's what I do. My bullion is for a hedging, a savings. An extra plan. A backup. That's what my bullion's for. But like my vintage silver, the Morgans. I'm big into the high grade PCGS toned Morgans. I love that stuff. I look at that stuff more as an investment. And like you said, if you play your cards right, you'll be okay. But let's just look at Engleharts, for example. I remember buying Pilos. Now that's the cheapest cast Englehart bar you can buy, right? And Pilos, I used to buy them for like $250, right? Then they went up to $280. Now they're up at $300. Now for a P-loaf, you're looking at $350. Now an Englehart, waffleback, a standard, what's 10th or 11th series waffleback. That was like the most, the cheapest poured Englehart bar you can buy, right? Those are going for, those used to be, $270, $280. Now they're going for, and then they went up to $350. Now they're going for almost $400, $375 to $400. Englehart, they just continue to go up in value. I've noticed that. Not too long ago, I was buying Prospector silver. Their most produced Englehart was the Prospector rounds, right? And I was buying those at one point at like $28 a piece. Now you're lucky if you can find them for $38. They just continue to go up in price. They don't just follow the spot price. They follow, the rarity of them. I look at Englehart kind of like 90%. They don't make it anymore. And it's just going to continue to go up in value. And that's what I've been seeing it just continue to go up and go up and go up.
There's certain things that there's a finite number of. They're not making any more 90%. They're not making any more Morgans. They're not making any more Englehart vintage bars. They're not making any more land. I mean, that's why people buy land, right? I mean, they're not making any more of it. It's only going to go up. It's very rarely are you going to lose value if you buy land. I mean, there's so many things out there that are great investments. And if you play your cards right, you can make yourself a lot of money.
Exactly. Now,
you just have to know exactly. There's some of these are so niche, though. You have to really know, like
that's
the
exactly
silver bars. You have to know your stuff. Versus land, you just know. Okay, I'll buy in an area that I know is popular.
So land, real estate is the best investment anyone can make. That's why I've gotten to that as soon as I was able to get into buying land and flipping houses and stuff. It's by far, you can have the shittiest land. As long as you can build on it, you can sell it.
You also have to remember, Patriotic, you're basically a freaking handyman on steroids. I mean, you know how to do a lot of shit.
I've been around trades my whole life,
so you can buy a house for, a repossessed house for like or a foreclosed house for like $100,000, then turn around and flip it for free.
You don't find those anymore. Dude, you can't even find a shed.
You just told me about one you flipped. It was you What was that last
All
one?
said and done, I paid $220. All said and done.
Okay.
It was $190. It was $190 after fees and everything. It came out to $220.
I know there's some properties in upstate New York that are pretty inexpensive compared to the rest of the country.
Oh yeah, no, there's
Yeah.
properties everywhere. The thing with real estate lands, it's about timing and location. That's what it's about. But God forbid the timing's bad and you buy a piece of property and it ain't the best time to sell, you hold it for a while. If you have the money that you're able to hold it and you're not in a rush to flip it right away, regardless, you're never really going to lose on real estate, on property, on land. It's a great investment. I think everyone should, try to build up to have some type of land or an extra house. And I mean, like with renting, right? So that's a great way to, make some money, some extra income, is, buying a house, or and renting it out. But I see so many people make the mistake. Okay, they have their house and they buy an extra house and they can rent out to a family, right? Well, you're not going to make money on that family. That's pretty much going to pay for taxes, pay for the remodeling of the house. You start making money after the second or third family. So say you have 3 rentals. The first and second one, you're really not making anything. It's the third one that all that money is going in your pocket. So you got to play. You got to know about it too. You can't just jump into it. You got to kind of play your cards. But
Yeah, a lot of people are also doing the Airbnb route. So
and I've noticed that
and they're
it's a lot
making
easier.
boatloads on that.
And
But
you
it
know
also
what's really,
depends on location.
you know what else is really big down in Florida where I'm at is the vacation home. Some of the people that are buying and investing in a vacation home and they rent it out just like by the week, they're getting like $3,000 to $3,500 a week.
Oh,
Yeah.
more. There was this house that me and my father was looking at when we were in Virginia Beach. There's a place called Sandbridge, which is a more private section of Virginia Beach, and there was this, like those houses. If you want, the whole family rents it out for the week, and you're right on the beach. Well, I forgot how many bedrooms it was. I think it was like 11 or 12 bedrooms. There was 3 floors. Each floor had a living area, the kitchen, living room, bedrooms, kitchen, living room, bedrooms, bathrooms. The whole, it was loaded, fully loaded. Had a nice in-ground pool right on the beach, and they were only asking 1.3 at the time, and it needed no work. It needed no work. You could literally rent it out right away. And my father thought about buying it, and I was going to go in with him, and he ended up never doing it. And I wish, because right on the beach, especially in Virginia Beach, it costs anywhere from 15 to 20,000 for the week. If you go in on a Sunday and you leave the next Sunday, it's about $15 to $20,000 to rent a house exactly on the beach. Now, if you cross the road and you go to the next lane where it's not exactly on the beach, but you have right away, there's trails to get right to the beach. That's anywhere from 5 to 7 I've seen. But that would have been a good investment. 1.3, that's a lot of money, right? But right now, like especially where you live and where I live, in New York, California, a 2-bedroom house is going for 400,000, 500,000. So when you think of it that way, like, all right, there's this massive beach house with an in-ground pool on Virginia Beach, huge tourist area for 1.3, and you can charge anywhere from 10 on the low end to 20 on the high end a week during, high season from, I'd say, end of May to mid-September. Do the math.
That's $400,000 throughout the season. 400 to 500,000
Exactly.
bucks if you can rent it consistently.
Exactly. So, and within 3 years, you make your money back.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like Campbell was saying earlier. It's kind of like you look back And hindsight's always 2020, right? It's like what I said. I wish I would have built my house on the water and invested the extra $100,000. You look
Yeah.
back and you say, I wish I would have gone in with my dad on half and half on that $1.3 million beach house because we'd be making bank. It's
I would have done it myself, but I would have needed a loan at that point.
But you know what? A lot of these times when you're looking back, those are really good. It's just like a really good experience for you to go through of not doing it too, because you get that experience of looking at, okay, that's what that price is going for at this time, and you can see how things fluctuate. So you're getting a really clear hindsight, and you can prepare for the next time and see how certain patterns were setting up and go, okay, I know what this house used to go for at this time. And if the market crashes, I can swoop in and grab this, 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 and then plan out that generational wealth type thing of like, okay, this house is going back up for sale, except it's a foreclosure now. And I'm going to grab that one. And that one's going to make me 10 grand a week because of this. And even if you were to take your 20 grand a week example, you were to cut that season in half, because let's say you were only able to fill once every other week, because 20 grand's a lot. There's not a whole lot of, I don't know, a whole lot of people are toss out 20 grand to go on vacation.
What they do,
but let's cut it in half. That's still 200 grand a year. That's more than covering your mortgage, and you're paying that off in 6 years instead of
exactly
3.
Like, even if we were to rent it out for 5,000%, there'd be a lot of rental companies pissed off because I'd be cutting their throats. But say if I did 5,000 or 10,000, we'd still be making money. It would take longer to get back your money, but you're still going to make it, because you buy something like that, you're not going to have it for 5 years. You're going to have it for many, many years, and most likely pass it on to your kids and your grand. And that's what you do. If you've got a nice spot where you're making money, and
and if you're undercutting those rental companies, you're also taking in, you might be extending your season, because people are like, well, I couldn't afford it during peak, but I'll go afterwards because it's half the price now.
Exactly.
Your
And a lot
rates
of people
drop.
do that too. But what's good there, because look at that, 20,000 a week, right, on the beach. That's expensive. That's ridiculous, right? No one's really got the money for that. But they're family homes. So what people do, I'm sure people in the chat got the whole family together and you went to a beach house and everyone chipped in, right? And that's what they do. One family, your aunt and uncle, they'll pay 1,000. Your mom and dad pays 1,000. Your other aunt and uncle pays 1,000. The whole family goes. They all chip in, so it really ends up not being too much to them. I mean, that's what we did when we go down to Virginia Beach. The whole family goes down. We all chip in. But it's all about playing your cards. If you play them right, and you know what you're doing, and you think things through, and you got the money, you can do okay. But you can't just jump into it. You gotta do some math. But
Definitely.
real estate's great. Buying property, renting out, fixing up houses, reselling them. There's everyone says it's pretty much the best investment you can get into. And it's yours. Everybody's gonna need land.
As long as you pay your property taxes.
Yeah, as long as you pay your property taxes. It's true.
That's what I hate about it. It's yours as long as you pay this. Gold is yours because I don't have to pay anyone else after I have it. It's mine.
Well, that's the thing. But even the beauty of it is nobody even knows you have it.
Yep. That's why that's why I try to impress on people so much, is people just go, well, it's just this little round piece of metal. It's like, it is so much more if you open your eyes to it. And there's a lot of people that just look at it as like it's an investment or it's insurance. I'm like, it is so much more. You don't understand. And I don't try to push people on it. If you don't want to know about it, that's fine. But if you really open up your eyes to it, of like how everything else is taxed around you that you own and gold isn't, how you can just say, hey guys, here's my will. It's not going to be in the official will, but each of you gets a tube of Eagles.
It's a legal way. It's a legal way to launder money.
Yeah.
It's true though. It's true. Don't get me wrong. My state, there's a tax. You got to pay over $1,000. But after you pay over, if you make purchases over 1,000, there's no tax on it. But
I hate that threshold crap. It's so annoying.
what's your threshold? California is 15.
15.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So we have in Florida, we have a
500, right?
Well, it's 500 if it's non-U.S. minted products. So I could just buy, So I could buy a 1/10 ounce Gold Eagle for $230, and there's no tax on that.
But if you buy a Britannia,
But if I buy a Britannia, I'm paying tax if it's not over $500.
Right. So
you know what? I expect better from Florida because I thought they were like Tennessee where they had no tax and they had something in their constitution about gold and silver being money. Because a lot of states are buckling down and saying, nope, we're going to include gold and silver in our constitution.
I'm not bitching about it too much because if I make an order, like 9 out of 10 times, it's going to be over $500 anyways, right?
Yeah,
so
and 500 is actually a pretty low threshold when you're talking precious metals.
I'm not bitching about it too much, especially considering the fact that my property taxes on my home are reasonable, even though they're still completely unconstitutional in my eyes, but that's a whole nother subject.
What are you paying down there on average in Florida?
There's no state income tax in Florida either. On my home, Patriotic?
Yeah, what's the average property tax?
So, like I said, I could sell my home tomorrow for $750 to $800.
Okay.
Mrs. Triple P, what's our property tax?
I know we're homesteaded, but
so off the cuff, somewhere between $4,000 and $5,000.
Oh my God! How big's your house?
2,600.
How many bedrooms?
5. It's a 5-3.
You know what a 3-bedroom house goes for in say a 2,000 square foot home in New York property tax? Every area in New York's different, but where I live,
12 to 15 grand a year, probably.
The lowest, and I mean we're talking manufactured home at this point, $8,000.
Yeah,
that's manufactured home.
And my house is you guys know what the nice houses look like. They're concrete slab construction.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's built with shitty materials. It's a well-built home. They're well built.
They have to be
because of hurricane code.
Yeah.
I pay $14.
Yeah.
A year. And most of that school tax.
You're paying 14 grand a year?
Yep, for my house.
Dude, I've seen your house. That ain't shit.
That's a lot of money, man.
Your house and all the land that you have, I wouldn't be bitching about 14 grand for what you got, bro.
Still a lot of money.
A lot. Considering you own it, you're just like, come on. But I already own this. Why am I doing this?
Even though land, like I said, property is the best investment you can possibly do. But what Campbell Coyne said, you own it, right? Supposedly you own it. The minute you stop paying property tax, the first year, they'll throw a sign in the newspaper. They'll throw a sign on your front door. So everybody knows in your area that you're back on your taxes. And they come and take away. And they take away everything they possibly can so they can get that money and kick you and your family off on the street. And then you got to hope there's beds at the shelter. You don't really own it. It's not like back in the day you find a piece of land and bam, it's mine. You know.
Do you guys ever watch the Yellowstone series?
Oh, that's great.
I haven't seen it.
You haven't seen it? Okay. So there's 3 series now. Yellowstone is more modern, and then they have 1883, which is like the foundation of the family setting up in Montana.
Yeah.
And then you have 1923, which is such a good show. If anyone hasn't seen it, just go pay the $7 to Paramount Plus to go watch those because there's such good episodes. Anyways, in 1923, they have this enormous Montana ranch, and they're behind on their property tax. and this very wealthy miner comes in and he pays it for them. And he tells them, if you guys don't pay me back by the end of the year, I get the deed. So that's how people are trying to steal land from one another. So they just pay the back taxes. And you're basically paying like pennies to get like this enormous land parcel.
Yeah.
I just think it's a really shitty system of you're paying for something you already own, and it's just dog shit.
Look at it this way, Campbell. Say you want to get into the housing market. You want to start building houses. All right. You pay taxes when you buy the material. You pay tax on the people you work. You know, you hire somebody, then you pay taxes. Then you go to turn around and sell that house. Well, there's a thing called capital gains. You got to pay 30-something% to the government on your profit of your house that you just sold to make money.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a year threshold, or it might be 2 years. If you own it for 2-3 years or something like that, then you don't have to pay tax capital gains on it. But builders, they build a house, they want to sell it, move on to the next one. You got to pay capital gains. You know what I mean? And then it's ridiculous. How many times are they going to tax you for the same thing? How many times? You sell the house, the family, then they got to pay. They're making so much money just on one house alone, on one property alone. Not to mention they tax you
Just
for
look
your
at income
vehicle.
tax. You're taxed on
Yeah.
everything.
They tax you on your paycheck. You go buy a brand new couch, you're going to pay tax. You go buy a damn drink, you're going to pay tax. Everything that you buy, they tax you, and they'll tax you 5,
Think
10,
of
20, 30 times on the same damn thing.
I don't know if you guys are business owners, but I mean,
Oh,
I
yeah,
know
yeah.
Triple P is he's a pilot, but
I
when
own
you're
a
paying
reform.
people to work for you, you're paying, there's so many taxes that go into that. You're just like, but I already pay taxes. So you're being taxed on the tax. It's another
It's
It's
ridiculous.
money grab. It's just
it's
so bad.
outright criminal.
Thank God for write-off.
They're never going to repeal it because they're never going to want to have less money coming into the coffers.
Oh, yeah.
It's something that would have to be so drastic, something
Yeah.
so dramatic that would end that stuff. And then everyone would be up in arms too, saying like, well, I need to have this pay for this. And when you get more and more people dependent on the system for welfare checks or what have you, and I understand there's like those groups of people out there, they're like, I really need this because I'm really stuck.
You don't know how many people
Yeah.
I know that's on welfare that's turning around and working under the books, getting $1,000 to $1,200 to $1,300 a week cash, yet collecting welfare, EBT cards, Section 8. You know what I mean? Some of these people know how to play the system too, and it just pisses
Yep.
me off. Like the middle class, us small business owners, the middle class, the working poor carries this country on their back, and they turn around and take from us, and they give it to the poor, and they give it to the rich. I mean, the brackets that have it the best are the people on welfare, the poor, and the rich. They don't
If you
got to
play
worry
by
about.
the rules, you get screwed.
Oh yeah, exactly. And you know what? Listen, I'm a business owner, and if it wasn't for write-offs, I tell you right now, I'd be broke. I write off everything I possibly can, and what I'm doing is legal. It's legal. I'm allowed write-offs. I write off everything because if I didn't, I'd be paying 32% of my profit to the government every year.
Mm-hmm.
Why should I do that? I pay tax for everything else. So I write off everything I possibly can. I go out to eat with a bunch of people. I save the receipt. Oh, it was a business meeting. Write it off.
You know, that's actually one argument that I can think of that would be I would be in favor for a CBDC is that right there, because that all that under the table stuff would go away.
Yeah, yeah.
But on the other hand, it's that CBDC it's just so evil to begin with that there's like, no, it's not worth it.
There's not a business owner out there that's in the trades, builders, framers, painters, plumbers, mechanics, floor guys, electricians. You're a business owner. Everyone does write-offs. And every guy in the trades Once in a while, gets a little bit of cash. You pay me cash, I'll knock a couple hundred off, and you turn around, you stuff that cash in the safe. You stuff it somewhere safe. And that's what small business owners rely on.
Well,
Because
there's
that
also
money,
people that do trade for trade. So they'll say, you
yeah,
know what?
barter.
I'll build your bathroom and you do the brickwork on my house.
Exactly. I do that often. I do that a lot. I mean, that's why I was able to, flip houses, because I know a lot of trades guys. And matter of fact, my buddy Jimmy, he's a framer, really good framer. He won't even take a dime from me. That's how close we are. And I still give him money anyways. I have to pretty much shove it down his throat because yeah, help him. But you gotta, it's it's I don't know. It's crazy.
It's a screwy
But
system.
it is, and but you gotta, I have no problem paying my fair share. I have no problem paying taxes, but the amount of taxes I gotta pay, how many times I gotta pay tax. I think I get a bone. I have so much, got a good job, and bam, there's tax. It's like, what the hell? When can I get a break?
I was just having this conversation with my dad probably 2 weeks ago. I'm like, I'm finally seeing the light of day for a lot of this stuff, and then this happens. Like I had a gas leak in my car, and thankfully Mercedes covered it. It was under. They had like an extended warranty on that particular thing, so that was like $2,000 that I saved. But still, it
Well,
was just like, I'm
there's
like,
your
oh,
problem.
come
You need to
on.
buy a Tesla, then you won't have to worry about that gas.
Yeah.
No, I'll just have to worry about it blowing up on me or driving into a creek.
A $20,000 battery when it dies.
Yeah, not a big deal, right?
That's fine.
No, but it is crazy, man. And like I said, I know we have to pay taxes to keep the country going, but they really need to fix the system. They need to take the people that are cheating the system, that haven't worked a day in their life, or come over here illegally, and get them off the system, or have them. If I look at it this way, if you're most of these people, not don't get me wrong, there's some people that are disabled that need to go on disability or welfare or whatever. I have no issue with that. If you're disabled, if you have you really can't work, okay, that's what it's for. But there are so many people that are mooching off the system, collecting welfare, popping out 20 freaking kids, and getting all this free
Do you
stuff.
think do you
We're
think
paying for
that's the
those
bigger
kids.
problem? Do you think that is the problem, or do you think military spending, which is more? Because I bet you anything it's government spending that's way more than
Well, yeah, the
welfare.
government spending, and the government takes the money and they give it to all these people that are mooching off the system. Listen,
It's
I got no problem upgrading our military. I believe in heavy spending in our military. I believe in that 110%, because right now, look, for example, with this Biden office, he cut a lot of military funding, and look at our military now. China is almost neck and neck, if not above us now. I believe in military spending. I believe in,
but it's not patriotic. It's not just the military spending to upgrade our military.
they're
It's
sending
the
money to
money that
freaking Ukraine, and they're
yes,
sending money to freaking these people that are coming over here, put them in them 5-star hotels by the busloads. They're sending money to our school system, which is run by the woke teacher union. That's really teaching our kids some good stuff. They're putting the money in the wrong spots, in the wrong places. They're not upgrading things. They're making things worse. That's what I have a problem. I have no issue, like I said, paying taxes. I know we got to pay tax. I have an issue where it's going. I have an issue how much they tax us, and like I said, they'll tax us on the same thing 5 or 6 different times. As long as if they see you're making money, if they see, oh, you made a sale, like, I mean, even Facebook Marketplace now wants your information. If you sell over a certain amount, they want to
and
hit you with tax.
when, not if, but when the CBDC does happen,
Oh, they'll
it's going to
just
be
take it
worse.
right out.
It's going to
They'll
be a
just take
lot
it right out.
worse. There,
Yep.
you won't even have to file your income taxes.
Yep.
It'll just be Hey,
Automatic
you
deduction.
owe us $12,685 this year. We
And
have deducted it from your
Yep.
your FedCoin account.
And
Good
if
luck
you ain't,
with the write-offs too at that point.
oh yeah, and if you ain't got the funds to cover it, if you ain't got the visible money in your account to cover whatever they're charging you, I guarantee they'll hit you with interest. They'll hit you with interest. Oh, you got to pay
Well,
it,
they
but
can.
we'll give you an extra week.
They're just going
hammer
to
you.
well, but keep in mind, they're going to take it when you have it. So
Oh yeah,
you're going to get your paychecks direct deposited into your FedCoin account because their
Yep.
banks won't exist the way they do now.
I mean,
So they're going to just say, okay, well, he just got another deposit for $6,000, so we'll take that.
Right now it's kind of the same. It's not severe like when we go to this digital currency, but look at it now. Business account. I have a business checking. That's where when I get paid from builders, because builders, it's all on the book, check. Government knows about it. Homeowners is where you make the cash, but builders, I get a check. It's written out to my flooring company. It gets thrown in my business account. Now, since that money's in there, I can't take that out in cash or I'll get penalized. I'll have to pay tax on that. So pretty much, I already got a seeing eye over my business account, and they're watching every single dollar that goes in and out. I can't take money out. I mean, I can, but I'll hit taxes on it. So it's pretty much just there, just to be there to pay, bills. Bills will come out of that. But the bills that I pay with that account have to be, pretty much affiliated with the business in some way. You know what I mean? I can't be, for example, I buy a quad. I can't be paying it with my business account unless it's for the business. So you're limited as it is with the business checking. So it's like I said, man, it's crazy. That's why us small business guys, we rely a lot on a lot of little cash jobs, man. You gotta do that. And I tell anyone that's in the trades that's watching this chat right now, you know what I'm saying.
Well,
I mean, if you
that's
have an
how bad the
opportunity,
system's gotten. You
yeah,
have to do that.
you gotta. In order to make ends meet, you gotta get some cash. Every homeowner that I do, it's a cash job, and that's the money I take and I
Well,
throw it
just
in a
imagine the
bag.
system going forward if it's CBDC. People
Oh
are
yeah,
going to be doing,
kiss
hey,
that goodbye.
I've got 10 ounces of silver and some butt cream.
Yeah,
Will you do this?
exactly. I mean, that's what's with I was gonna say with with another form of payment I used to take with business. All right, I was doing a job on Sunday or Saturday. The bank closed at noon. Right, they were gonna pay me. It's the last code. I finished up. Oh, we forgot to grab some cash. Do you take Zelle or PayPal? Yeah, absolutely, no problem. That's just as good as cash. It was, and then now with the whole $600 thing, and you're getting 1099 if you hit a certain threshold. So that went away. I don't take Zelle or PayPal now, and if it does, it's linked right to the business account. You know what I mean? I might as well have them pay me through the business versus in cash.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's just strictly cash. I won't even take a personal check written out to cash on a homeowner job. Strictly cash.
What about Venmo or Cashapp? Same shit.
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. I mean, dude, Facebook Marketplace. I used to sell stupid shit. I had a fireplace, throw it up on Facebook Marketplace. I had a refrigerator that I threw it up, and you got stupid shit on the marketplace, and someone come pick it up and done deal, right? Well, now they wanted me to type in my info, my card and this and that and banking info and address and all the everything. And they charge you tax now on that. And Facebook also takes a fee. So, all that stuff, man, that's all going to go away.
Yeah.
They're catching on. And the next thing, they're going to catch on to that crypto, and they'll do something with the crypto too.
Hey guys, I'm sorry, I have to get going. I'm way past my time here.
Oh yeah,
I meant to only go for an hour, and I got to get going.
Well,
I appreciate you guys having me on,
dude.
again.
We really
Yeah,
appreciate
man.
you. it's always a pleasure to have you on. Thank you so much, Campbell.
I appreciate talking, guys.
I'll have to do it in another year from now.
If not sooner.
If not, absolutely.
You guys take care.
Have a good one, man.
Take care.
See ya.
So I'm probably gonna wrap it up patriotic as well. I was in the hospital with my kid all day long. So
how's that all going? Everything going good so far?
All right. I guess I haven't said any of this publicly yet, but what the hell? I'll just throw it out there. So baby Triple P was behind on a lot of his milestones, and walking at a certain age, talking at a certain age, stuff like that. Not like really behind, but just like 3 to 6 months.
Enough to notice.
What's that?
Enough to notice.
Yeah, enough to notice, but not anything to be like overly concerned about.
Yeah, exactly.
So we started going down the rabbit hole of he was underweight. He's always been like very small, like in the second or third percentile on his growth chart. So we started going down the rabbit hole of seeing all these doctors, and we ended up at a geneticist. And there was some genetic testing that we elected to do, which cost, I think it was like $26,000 to do this genetic testing. They pulled blood from me, they pulled blood from my son, and they pulled blood from my wife. And they determined it like 70% of the time it comes back normal, but we were in the 30% of the time where it did not. And it came back that he tested positive for a condition called Coffin-Cyrus syndrome, which is very rare. And the variant of Coffin-Cyrus syndrome that he has it's the SMARCA4. There's like 6 different variants, and the one that he has is the SMARCA4. And then the actual genetic mutation that's out of whack is 2806 with a T changing to a C. And I know a lot of that probably went over everyone's heads. It would have gone over my head too. But basically, long story short, he is the first documented case in the world with this genetic marker. So there's very little research out there on it. And the best that we can tell is kids with similar genetic markers are at super high risk of cancer for the first 5 years of their life. So we were in the hospital all day with him getting a full body MRI to make sure there was no signs of cancer. They had to sedate him for that, of course, because he's only 2 years old and he's not going to lay still on the MRI table. So yeah, it's been a long day.
Well, listen, dude, I told you similar things with my son, Blake. He's got a TSC, tuberosclerosis complex, and it's also genetic. Luckily, me and his mother didn't carry the gene, so we, found out, because you had to do the test and find out. It either comes from the parents, or one of the parents, or it just happens. And it was a mutation of the gene, so he got it, and it's pretty much. So on the outside, it looks like epilepsy, right? Seizures can happen, can cause learning disabilities, autism, because of seizures, depending on how many seizures you've had. But the major thing about this is that it causes tumors, and cysts to grow on your major organs in your body, from your eyes to your heart to your kidneys to your liver to your lung, whatever, your brain, whatever it wants to grow on. Luckily, everything is healthy. He does have tubers, cysts, and tumors on his kidneys. He does have tumors, and cysts on his brain, but they're monitored. There's no learning disability. The only thing that he has is ADHD, but that's just common. So he's being monitored. Everything, we go every 6 months. I think now we go every year because the doctor said everything's really good. So luckily, because it's like, kind of like, for example, autism or cancer. There's different stages, right? You have stage 1 or stage 4, or
Sure.
autism,
Sure.
low spectrum, or you're mid-grade,
Yeah.
spectrum, or you're high, really bad, like autism. Well, he's got TSC, full-blown TSC, but he's like, you could never notice. Like, you can't really tell. You know what I mean? So luckily, he's good in that way. We do need to monitor his kidneys and his brain because they can grow. By the way, the tumors are non-cancerous tumors. They're not cancerous tumors that grow. They're non-cancerous tumors. But it's the same kind of the same. It's not as rare as what your son has, but it is a very rare disease, genetic mutation, I guess. And I think it's 1 out of 1 million or 1 out of 10 million.
Well, see, here's the thing. They say that this stuff is so rare. And Mrs. Triple P just typed in the chat that she has it as well. So yeah, he actually got the genetic marker from my wife. And now we just found out that my wife is going to be at a very high risk for ovarian cancer. So she's going to have to do added screenings for that. But that's a whole nother story. Here's the thing, Patriotic. We have such a huge spike in the last few decades of autism in this country. And we say that these genetic defects are highly rare. Like you're telling me about what your son has and how rare it is. I just told you that what my son has is technically the first documented case in the world. But that's why I use the word documented.
Because there's so many that aren't documented.
Well, yeah, how many kids out there have been
Exactly.
mislabeled and misdiagnosed? And I'll give you the perfect example. Mrs. Triple P, when she was in high school, had some issues with learning and test taking, and they tried to label my wife, Mrs. Triple P, with Asperger's. And she told me this when I met her and we were dating, and I laughed. And I'm like, I'm going to tell you right now that that's the funniest thing I've ever heard, because there's no way in hell I would ever believe that you had Asperger's.
Yeah.
And now we just found out, not even a month ago, that our son, has this rare genetic disorder that he inherited from my wife. And now all of the pieces of the puzzle fit. So what I'm saying is, kids, they get misdiagnosed all the time. And a lot of the time,
Exactly.
the diagnosis is autism. But are they really autistic? Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. But Mrs. Triple P and I are two parents who are very, very, very on top of shit. And we made sure we did the genetic testing. And lo and behold, it actually came back with something. So you have to wonder how many other kids out there should have genetic testing done, maybe, and they haven't had it done.
Exactly. And that's the funny thing too, because if Blake, my son Blake, didn't have that seizure when he was a year old, we would have never known that he had TSC. And there are so many people that live with that genetic mutation a long life and don't find out they have it until they're in their 60s, or they had it. And it's the same thing with a lot of things. Matter of fact, it's true. I think, if you have kids, or, even if everyone should go get a genetic test and find out, because,
But see, here's the thing. The insurance companies do not want to pay it. We had to fight. So my health insurance company is Blue Cross Blue Shield. And we had to fight with them like cats and dogs in order to get this genetic testing done, or I was going to be responsible for all $26,000 of it. It was a pain in the ass. They do not want to have it done, because if it comes back with something like it did with our son, they're on the hook. Now we have, and Patriotic, this diagnosis that my son had is accurate to 100%. It's not like what was that talk show where they're like, you are not the father, and it's accurate to 99.97%. No, it's accurate to 100%. There is zero room for error on this diagnosis.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they can't dispute it. Nobody can dispute it. But you know what? At the end of the day, here's the good news. I think our son is going to take after my wife in many ways, because my wife, as big of a clown as she is and as much fun as she can be, she's actually highly intelligent. She went through college. She got her bachelor's degree. She got her master's degree.
Yeah.
And our son, I'm already seeing things in him on how he correlates things and how he problem solves. And our son is not going to be a dummy. I can see that right now. At the end of the day, it's just a diagnosis, and our son is still a son.
Exactly. When my son first got diagnosed with TSC, I was in denial. I was in denial, and I was like, "Oh, my son's gonna be this, he's gonna be that." I was, you don't want to hear that stuff. You don't want to hear that your kid's got some disease you've never heard about, that's rare, and there's not much funding for it. It was, but my wife said to me, she's like, we love him more. We're there for him more. He's and you know what? It was nothing. He's a smart, very smart, outstanding drawer, problem solver. The kid. You would never think that he has TSC, and yeah, man. It's you just monitor it. You keep up on it, and you be the best parent you possibly can.
So yeah, I mean, and here's here's the thing that's really a pain in the ass now is Mrs. Triple P and I, because we gave baby Triple P, I think it was about a year and a half ago. We gave him, hey honey, which vaccine did he end up in the hospital from? Was it the MMR? He had the MMR vaccine, and it hospitalized him. And my wife and I said no more MMRs. But now, knowing that my son has this diagnosis, we're pretty much done. We're done vaccinating my son, and I want to get a medical exemption from him for all of the shit. We have a religious exemption, but now I want a medical exemption. And the funny thing is no doctors want to do it. Doctors are terrified. And here I have a child who is the first documented case in the world, and there's no research on it, and they still don't want to do it.
Yeah. So what if this is the first documented case? Would they just make up a name there?
So there's 6 different types of Coffin-Siris syndrome. SMARCA4 is one variant, and that's the one that our son has.
So what's he
but
like?
Then within that variant, there's a specific genetic mutation, and the specific genetic mutation is 2806 with a T changing over to a C. So if you write it down, it's 2806 T, and then it's like a greater sign, and then C. So until the doctor explained this, because we went into his online chart, and we saw the diagnosis before we even met the doctor. So we're Googling the shit out of everything, right? And I'm like, T greater than C? What the fuck is T greater than C? And the geneticist laughed at me, and he's like, no, it's not T greater than C, but I see why you would think that. It's actually T changing to a C. So I guess there's T's and there's C's within each microscopic gene. And
there's even other letters too.
The science behind this is just mind-blowing. And I don't think I'm a dumb guy. I always know that I'm just a stupid fucking bus driver, but at the end of the day, I don't think I'm an idiot.
No, you're not.
A lot of this shit just went right over my head, right over my wife's head.
Yeah.
And it's the genetic testing is still like in its infancy. It's still so much that has yet to be discovered. So, you know, I'm trying to get a medical exemption for my kid because the live vaccines, it's not even the mRNA ones. I obviously wouldn't give him an mRNA vaccine either. But they're saying that the live vaccines are the ones that are doing the damage to these kids.
Oh, yeah.
And we
Absolutely.
don't know why. And at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter why. I'm not going to give it to my kid.
Yeah.
We're done.
And the scary thing, with these doctors too, and I'm sure people in the chat notice this, but say you were healthy your whole life, or your family member, your grandmother was healthy her whole life. Something happened. She had a fall or whatever. She goes to the hospital. And then the doctor wants you to, okay, they release you from the hospital. You're all good, but follow up every 6 months. We'll run these tests. Once people start going to hospitals constantly, and they do these, they test you and give you this medication, they make you worse than you ever were before, and people drop. I mean, like my Uncle Alf right now, he's got cancer, right? And, yeah, you got to go on chemo, you do the radiation, whatever, to try to beat the cancer. But he's a shell right now. You know what I mean? He's skin and bone. He's weak. He's got no grip in his fingers. He can barely walk. Like, the shit that these doctors are giving you is worse than the freaking cancer itself.
Well, that goes down a whole nother rabbit hole because we've been treating cancer in this country the same way for decades, and it's kind of like cut slash burn, right?
Yeah.
We slash people open, we cut the cancer out, or we burn it with radiation or chemo. But at the end of the day, none of that stuff cures cancer. None
No.
of it cures cancer. It's a way of buying a person time and
Yep.
treat the disease, but it's not necessarily a cure.
Yeah.
I've talked about this with my wife a lot too, and it's
Too
like
much money in it.
where was cancer in biblical times? To my knowledge, cancer did not exist in biblical times, right?
No.
I mean,
If
cancer didn't
there
really
was
exist
cancer, it,
1,000 years ago. So what caused cancer? When did cancer start popping up? When did cancer become prevalent? And it's like within like the last couple hundred years, right?
yeah. And the only time you heard about cancer, and I don't even think they called it cancer at that time, but it was people got skin cancer, from the sun. If you were fair skinned, but that was pretty much it. You know what I mean? Now the cancer, dude, it's ridiculous. And you find out all these new cancers that you've never heard of before. Like this is funny, but I was on I don't know, the news or website, whatever. You can get cancer from performing oral sex. Did you hear about that one?
You know, here.
Did you hear
So
about that one?
here's my theory. Patriotic. That sounds a little silly to me, but here's my theory.
It's crazy.
My theory is the only common variable that I can make some sense out of is what has increased exponentially in parallel to the increase in cancer. And the answer to that question is processed foods.
Yeah.
A lot of
We
the
can go on
stuff
this forever.
so a lot of the stuff that we put into our mouth nowadays, what do? We stop at McDonald's and get the kids chicken McNuggets. Then we
Yeah.
go home and we put a hungry man dinner in the fucking microwave. Like
Yeah.
what a lot of Americans are eating nowadays is processed foods.
My
And,
wife's stance on that.
oh, I know your wife. This is her deal. Oh, I know that. And like I really think that plays a very large part
Oh
in
yeah.
the amount of cancer that we're seeing.
And you know what? These food companies, they're working in cahoots with the pharmacies, the pharmaceuticals, because it's a big money thing, man. It's a big money thing. These pharmaceuticals want people to get diseases and cancer and diabetes and spend the money. If they found a cure, man, forget about medication. You know what I mean? There's too much money in it, man. This food. You ever notice you can get a meal at McDonald's cheaper than what a salad costs?
So you bring up an interesting point. If there was a cure for cancer, do you think that they would want to bring it to us?
No,
I mean,
hell no.
when you talk about cancer treatment, let's talk about what's involved with that. You've got radiation, you've got surgeries, you've got chemotherapy, you've got stem cell transplants. I mean, I could go on with different ways we treat cancer, and each one of those ways involves modern medicine and cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. You think about how many people die from cancer each year, and then you multiply that by hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical treatments, and that's a lot of fucking money.
I mean, just think about the people that say no to radiation and say no to chemo, and they go on this natural organic route. Eating farm beef and fresh vegetables from the market and fruit, and take some smoke some weed, and they just do this natural thing, and they beat the cancer. You know what I mean? There's so many things you can do, and and the medicine that they give you now, like the chemo, it's kind of like, because there is a cure out there. There is. They already have a cure. It's probably locked up in the Vatican somewhere, maybe. You know, um, they have a cure, man. If they can fly a man to the moon in 1969 with 2 millibytes or gigabytes or something, there's a cure for cancer. If they can make electric cars and all the crazy stuff we have today, there's a cure for cancer. You know what I mean? Like, there's medications, there's cures for colds, right? There's cures for allergy. Well, maybe not cures, but there's medications that can cure infections, diseases, viruses, right? So why
You
isn't
know,
there a medication
funny,
for
one of the biggest ways to treat a cold, though, patriotic, is actually natural.
drinking?
It's zinc.
Natural drink. Yeah, yeah.
Lots of
Vitamin,
zinc. Beginning of the
vitamins. Yeah,
cold, there's actually data that shows that decreases the severity and the length of that cold.
yeah. You can do a nice glass, warm glass of tea or lemon water. Um, Plenty of rest. A cold is very, very easy to beat naturally. You know what I mean? There's all types of things you can do. And I mean, why do you think people lived longer? You get a lot of these old timers that are 100 years old, 90 years old, because they lived off the land. You know what I mean? They didn't go to the doctor. You know what I mean? They lived off the land. They were healthy. They worked.
I
You
mean,
know, and
I can't go to the other extreme though and say that modern medicine hasn't saved a lot of lives too,
yes,
because
it has.
but you have to take the good with the bad, and I think you just have to be as intelligent of a parent as you can be to try to make the best decision for your child.
Exactly. But dude, at the end of the day, your child's gonna be fine. He's gonna live a long, healthy life. He's gonna be smart. He's gonna go to college. Your son's gonna be okay, man. And like I said, I'll be praying for him, and I'll be praying for Mrs. Triple P when she goes for her results or testing.
Yeah,
You guys will
so
be okay.
it's kind of funny because she had a hysterectomy about a year ago because of her severe endometriosis, and if we would have known this at the time, we probably would have told the surgeon
That's
to
the
take
super
take
chat.
the ovaries as well. And we elected to keep the ovaries, obviously, because it's gives her all the hormones that she needs without having to supplement with artificial hormones. But now we found out that since this came from her and the genetic mutation that she has puts her at a high risk for ovarian cancer, now we got to fucking worry about this shit. And it's like, you know, of course, ovarian cancer is one of the worst cancers a woman could ever get because it's the silent killer. By the time that you have any symptoms, you're already stage 4.
Yeah. It's terrible, man, you know, but, you know, you guys will be okay. You know, just keep praying. You know, I think the power of the prayers is the best thing, you know, and, you know, people might say it's not, but listen, every time I've prayed, it's always worked. Always. You know, you just gotta have faith. You gotta do the right thing, and just, you know, you guys will be all right. Little bump in the road, little storm you're going through, but just remember Jesus is in your boat.
Yeah, you know, I know that everything's gonna work out in the end.
Positivity is the best thing, man. Stay positive.
Anyways, for anybody that's still left in the stream before I bounce for the night, I do want to mention one more thing, Patriotic. I'm dropping a video on Saturday where I'm going to discuss the pistol brace ban that's coming up. If you guys don't know about it,
What is it?
please look into it. The ATF is off the rails again. If you own any pistols that have a brace after May 31st, you are a felon. Because
Oh
the
my
ATF,
God.
yeah. So there's upwards. I've heard estimates as low as 4 million and estimates as high as 40 million
And
of
this is across the
brace
country.
across the United States of these
Why don't
pistol braces. It's a piece of fucking plastic. And the ATF has now decided, they made the rule in January and they did a 120-day amnesty period. And that amnesty period ends on May 31st. So there's 5 ways to comply. And obviously, that's based off of what the ATF says. We all know what way number 6 is, and we're not going to talk about that. But there's 5 ways to comply according to the ATF, and you have to do one of those by May 31st, or congratulations, you are now a felon, punishable by 10 years in federal prison.
But you know what I don't understand? Governors like Ron DeSantis, Greg Abbott, you know, conservative governors, they got control of their state. Why can't they fight it? Why can't they stop that and say, listen, this is my state. This is my. You have to go and get a Florida license if you live in my state.
Well, here's the thing. I don't think any Florida law enforcement officer would ever enforce that. However, let's suppose there is an ATF agent who is living in Florida and he is off duty and he is at the gun range, and somebody comes to the gun range next to him and pulls out a braced pistol and starts shooting it. And that ATF agent says, "Hey, I'm so and so with the ATF. I'd like to see your tax stamp, please." And all of a sudden, you just got arrested and you're going to prison for 10 years for a piece of plastic. So I mean, I just want people to be aware of it. That's the main reason I'm releasing this video on Saturday. And I do say it in the video because I just recorded it tonight right before the stream. I do say in the video, I don't really care which method you guys choose. You can choose any 5 of them. You can choose the 6 option. I don't really give a fuck because you know what? You are an American and you're supposed to be free, and that's your choice. And I would never fault you for deciding what or how you want to deal with your firearms after a tyrannical and unconstitutional law is being passed by a bureaucratic agency that's off the rails.
This is what they're doing. They know they can't take the guns away from Americans. So this is what we'll do. Since we can't take the guns away, because that'll just cause an uprising, right? But let's take every year or every so many months, let's take a part away from your gun. And then next year we'll take a different part. And next year you have to modify this to the point it's no longer a fucking gun anymore.
So
That's what they're gonna do.
Evil Cowboy and Trident and a few other guys keep posting frogs in the chat, right? It's kind of like taking that frog and putting him in a pot of cold water. And then you turn on the flame, and that water gets hotter and hotter and hotter as it gets closer to a boil, and the frog doesn't know he's in trouble until it's too late and he's already dead. And that's what they're doing to us. We are that frog in a pot that was cold and it's on its way to a boil.
Dude, it's crazy. And dude, and I was watching Alex Jones today, and it was funny how Campbell Coins brought up that whole AI generated footage of the Pentagon or got bombed or something, and so many people believed that it actually affected the stock market. Dude, they have everybody so brainwashed, and the propaganda. I mean, do you know Joe Biden's got this social media team? It's TikTok for Biden or whatever. He's recruiting young social media people to talk on topics like the vaccination, on the border, on firearms, on abortion, on all those touchy subjects, right, that really divide both parties. And pretty much so he can spread that propaganda, because he knows that the days of cable's over. The days of people watching media, news on TV is pretty much over. Everyone does social media now. And he's trying to, he's pretty much got this army of young people that his agencies pay to touch on these topics. And a lot of these people don't mention anything in their bio. Like, it's a whole thing. It's crazy. And they're pretty much brainwashing people. And just all this propaganda and stuff. And, it's people need to wake up, man. They need to see this shit. They need to do something. There's things we can do. And just, I don't know, people just, we sit back, and I think a lot of people are losing hope. And, don't get me wrong, there's days I'm like, man, it's hopeless. Like, we're too far gone. But there's things we can do to fight back. We got to fight back. We got to put a stop to what's going on. This is ridiculous. I mean, you're telling me an AI generated freaking video could cause the whole country to collapse and people to lose their homes because of the stock market falling apart?
Well, it goes back to what Campbell's Coins was saying. He could see either one of us winning that bet, and I could too. I mean, it's so volatile, patriotic, that it could literally go either way. I mean, it's a fucking coin toss at this point.
Jimmy says, so who are we talking shit about tonight, fellas? Typical, Tuesday night trash talk stuff. We're talking shit about the government. Taxes.
Jimmy made it for the end of the stream. Actually, I was just getting ready to bounce Jimmy. By the way, congratulations to Jimmy, because he won the gold on my channel. He won a 1 gram gold Geiger bar.
Oh, wow, very cool. Congratulations, man.
I'll be dropping that in the mail for Jimmy within the next day or two. But yeah, that was a good win.
Very cool. But all right, we've been going on for a while here, but I just wanted to leave saying this. Like I said, man, keep your head up. I'll be praying tonight for your little man and your wife, and everything will be good.
I appreciate that. One more thing before we bounce. Emerald Coast Stacker said what may be one of the best comments of the night: stack other preps in addition to gold and silver. And this is what I have always said: get your preps in order. Bullion last.
Yep.
Bullion should be the last thing you worry about. Make sure you have all of your food, all of your water supply, all of your medical supplies,
and
all of that stuff with you, survival tools, etc., etc., etc. Because at the end of the day, I have more than enough to keep me and my family covered, to the point where I would be willing to sell some of it and take some of your gold and silver for it. So make sure you focus on that long before you focus on stacking the precious metals.
Exactly. And matter of fact, since you brought that up, if you buy a 25, 30-year shelf life food like myself, and store it, buy it from a conservative patriot companies. Alex Jones was talking about a lot of these preserved foods are pretty much poisoned with toxics.
I'll one up you even bigger than that. This and you know where I'm going probably already, because you know how I prep. The cheapest way to do it, guys, just go to the store and buy like a 15 or 20 pound bag of rice, or
Mylar
15,
bags.
20 pound. Yep. And then go off of Amazon, buy some Mylar bags, get some oxygen absorbers. There's a zillion freaking videos on YouTube on how to seal your stuff with Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers and a heat sealer, and it'll go for 30 years. And that's the cheapest, most economical way to do it. And you know that you're buying, I mean, you buy it from the store that you want. I mean, it's just dried rice or dried beans. There's nothing else in it. So you know you're good.
But all right, man. It's a good stream tonight.
Medical kits we're talking about. I'm trying to just read these comments before I bounce. Yes, I have. We're not even going to talk about my medical kits. My medical kits are off the chart. My medical kits are. I have medical training, so I have all kinds of extra goodies that I know how to use, but I figure I'd rather have them than not have them, just because I know how to use them.
Emerald said a really important thing: establish a good local network with like-minded patriots. So exactly. So if you live in a community or in your little town, get to know your local doctor, get to know your local firefighter, get to know your local police officer, get to know your neighbors, who's got this, who's got that, and pretty much establish a perimeter in your town. So if it's a situation like that, you guys can all hold off or protect your area or each other.
And the other thing is, even at work, like whatever you guys do for work, find out, when you talk about certain things with your coworkers, sometimes it comes up that, they might be like-minded and they might be preppers. And if like, for example, I know a few of my first officers who prep, and they live, 15, 20 minutes away from me. So those are allies. Those are resources that you have for each other should you ever need it.
Exactly.
But it's been a long day. It's been a fun stream, Patriotic. So I am going to call it a night as well.
All right, guys. Thank you all for the super chats, and let's all pray for Triple P and his family.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much, everybody. We'll be back next Tuesday night. And please make sure you check out that gun video I'm dropping on Saturday as well.
I'll be there.
All right. Everyone have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.